Ready to go? This is your first appearance hearing before the Magistrate Court of Clayton County. My name is Brad Gardner, and I am a judge in this court. I am not here to conduct a trial of your case or to take a plea of your case. I am here to inform you of the charges that have been filed against you, to advise you of certain rights, to set bail on those offenses that I'm authorized to set bail, to schedule a preliminary hearing, and to determine whether you require the assistance of an attorney. You have the right to remain silent and say nothing, but should you give up this right, anything you say during this proceeding may be used against you. So please don't discuss the facts of your case. During this and all other proceedings, you have the following rights: the right to the presumption of innocence, the right to indictment by a grand jury for most felonies or by accusation for misdemeanors, the right to a speedy and public trial by jury, the right to see, hear, and question witnesses who are called to testify against you, the right to compel the attendance of witnesses to testify on your behalf, the right to testify on your own behalf or offer evidence in your own defense, the right to have an attorney represent you. If you cannot afford an attorney, one can be appointed to represent you if you qualify. Some of you will be allowed to post unrestricted bonds for your release from jail. These bonds may be cash, commercial, or property. If you post a cash bond, someone will deliver the full amount of the bond and fees in cash to the sheriff's office. The sheriff's office will hold the cash and return it at the end of the case. If you use a commercial bonding company, someone will have to pay a fee to the company for their service. The fee will not be returned. I don't know what fee will be charged, but it's usually based on a percentage of the bond. Finally, if you use property to post a bond, the property will need to have a net equity at least 3 times the total amount of the bond. Some of you will have special conditions on your bond that prohibit you from contacting certain people or going to certain places. This special condition will be provided to you on a separate form. You will also be prohibited from contacting the victim while you are in jail. If you violate the court's order, your bond will be revoked and you can remain in jail until your trial. You could also receive additional felony charges. It is important to note that if someone is listed as a victim in your case, that person will not be allowed to post your bond. Some of you are charged with offenses for which this court is not authorized by law to set bail. In this event, a bond hearing will be scheduled before a judge of the Superior Court of Clayton County, and you will be informed of that date. If you are currently on active probation, this court is not authorized to set bond at this time. Whether bond is appropriate in your case will be reconsidered after your probation officer has had an opportunity to consider this new arrest. The purpose of a preliminary hearing is to determine whether there is sufficient evidence to support the allegations against you. The standard at this stage is very low. A judge determining whether a charge goes forward at this stage only has to determine that it is possible that the crime occurred. Everyone has the ability to waive their right to a preliminary hearing. However, you should speak to a lawyer first if you are unsure about whether it is appropriate to waive your preliminary hearing. If you post bond, your preliminary hearing is automatically waived. You will receive notice at the address you give of your next court date. Finally, I need everyone to raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that any statements made during this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God? Okay, thank you. It looks like we may have an attorney Mr. Jerome?
Yes. Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
I'm representing Deontay Jacobs today.
Okay.
I actually haven't gotten a chance to speak with him. I was going to ask if I could get into a breakout room with him before the hearing.
I don't have a breakout room available. As you can see, they're all in the same space.
I
So
understand.
anything you say would not be private.
Well, then that's fine. We'll just move forward with the hearing then.
Okay. Let's deal with Mr. Jerome's client first, Deontay Rashad Jacobs.
Yes, Your Honor.
I need lines, green, and short. That's your name, come on. Lines.
Are you Mr. Jacobs?
Hey, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing well. Mr. Jacobs, I would normally address you directly during this proceeding, but since you have a lawyer here, Mr. Jerome, I'm going to direct my questions and inquiry to Mr. Jerome. And as I stated earlier, this whole thing is being broadcast live on YouTube, and there's not an ability to have a private conversation with Mr. Jerome. So please don't say anything that you don't want the whole world to hear, okay?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Jerome, it seems like Mr. Jacobs arrested on 4 warrants. I have tentatively set a bond of $13,500. The charges are equipment failure or something related to his tire. The bond was set at $500 for that. Fleeing, attempting to elude, I set a $5,000 bond for that. Reckless driving, I set a $5,000 bond. And obstruction of officer, I set a $3,000 bond. Is there anything that you want to direct my attention to as it relates to these bonds?
Your Honor, only with the reckless driving, I see that you set the bond at $5,000. We're just going to ask if you could reduce that to $1,500 for him. I understand that in conjunction with these other charges that, the court wants to ensure that his presence in court, but with the other bonds on the obstruction and the bond on the fleeing, I believe that should be enough to secure his presence.
Give me 1 second. Let me look back at the warrant. With the warrant as it relates to the reckless driving, it's saying that he was driving eastbound in the westbound lanes on Battle Creek Road. My concern with the fleeing related acts is that we've all seen how this could end up in a car crash and innocent people just trying to go to work or go to the mall or whatever end up dead. So I take it seriously when someone flees. So I'm not going to reduce the bond as it relates to that because it's something where, as I indicated before, I view it a lot of times as but for the grace of God type of situation where somebody wasn't seriously injured, including the accused. So I try to set bonds as it relates to this so that if he's ever in this situation again, he's going to pull over and say, I'm just going to, whatever happens, happens. I'm a hired lawyer and I'm going to deal with it. I'm not going to place the public in danger by attempting to flee.
Understood.
And as it relates to the counts, I have to set a bond on each count that's given. And I only review the warrants for technical problems. So like if a person is charged with battery and they don't name the victim, I dismiss it. because it has to be technically correct. I wish we had the prosecution here on these proceedings so that we could have dig into this a little bit more sometimes, but currently I just have to take it as a given.
Well, I haven't reviewed the police report on this. So
Okay.
if we need to, we'll file a prelim if he doesn't bond out.
Okay, and the prelim date is going to be set for April 27th at 8:30 in the morning. And it's going to say courtroom 201, but currently we're doing the Zoom hearings with this latest announcement from the Supreme Court. I don't know what's going to be going on at the end of April, whether we're going to be back in court or whether we're going to still be doing things remotely. So just be aware that if the courthouse is still closed, it's probably going to be done by Zoom. So there's a total bond that's going to be set, as I said, at $13,500. He has availed himself of the right to hire a lawyer. You have the preliminary hearing date. Is there anything else, Mr. Jerome?
No, there isn't. Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Have a good day, sir. You're free to go. And Mr. Jacobs is free to go back.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Do you mind if we skip the line and get three people out of the way for medical?
Sure. Who was the person?
Sure. It's gonna be Mr. Hunter first.
Okay.
If you don't mind, Your Honor, I just want to ask the jail, when will I be able to speak to Mr. Jacobs?
If you can just contact the jail, they will help you.
It'll probably be a few hours, but he's right. Just contact the jail and they'll let you know. Hey, it's Brandon Keith Hunter.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
And then we have Mr. Marsh, and we have Mr. Smith. Dwayne Smith.
Okay. Let me just make a notation. Marsh. Mr. Hunter, you've been charged with, looks like 6 offenses. 4 of them are felonies. The 2 counts of violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act, 1 count of possession of a weapon during commission of a crime, and 1 count of possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. I cannot set bond on those offenses at this time because there's an indication that you are on probation. You can get bond set at the next proceeding, but I just can't by law set it here. And I've given you a $1,500 bond on the 2 misdemeanor charges each, use or possession of drug-related object and possession of marijuana less than an ounce. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for April 28th at 8:30 in the morning, and that'll be over Zoom, like we're, excuse me, like we're having here. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, you do qualify, Mr. Hunter. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. You're also having a bond hearing date. I'm going to set that right now for April 30th at 8:30 in the morning. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back, Mr. Hunter.
All right, Mr.
I can't stand it.
You can't see? Okay, just come and sit right here. You can.
Oh, he was going to shit.
Okay,
Nah,
good.
just take it back then. I'll come back around.
We're gonna have Mr. Marsh next.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
You look like a boxer. I got you.
He's here, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Marsh, you've been charged with 1 count of theft by shoplifting. The bond is going to be set at $2,000 for that. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
No, well, it's too high for me because I don't have any relatives that can get, because my brother I stay with is a truck driver, and I don't have anybody else to come. Now, if you could lower it to where I can pay it myself or get out on myself, I can do it, because I have it on a debit card on my property, but I don't have nobody to come do it.
So this bond is set by schedule, and that means that a group of judges got together and decided what is the appropriate bond for certain offenses. And so this one is set at $2,000 by the other judges, so I can't lower it. I would encourage you to contact the bonding companies that are authorized to write bonds here, and they can assist you in getting out. This is a misdemeanor offense, and you're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for April 27th at 8:30 in the morning. And that date will get waived upon your bonding out. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Well, yes, you can, but will I be able to call somebody when I get out, when I leave here?
Yes, sir. They will allow you to use the phone when you leave this proceeding, but they have their own rules and processes in place. So it's not like you leave here and demand to use the phone. When you're able to, they will let you use it. So I'm going to find that you do qualify, Mr. Marsh, and I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any other questions of me, sir?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back, Mr. Marsh.
Oh, Your Honor, we got one more.
And did you say Dwayne Smith?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good morning, Mr. Smith. You've been charged with 1 count of criminal trespass. I'm going to set the bond at $3,000 for that, but I'm going to place a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from Demetria McClinton.
Yes, sir.
Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
I have nothing to my name, sir.
Okay. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Are you currently working, Mr. Smith?
I had a job, sir, but PTSD, sir.
Okay. I'm going to find that you qualify, Mr. Smith. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is all we have from the mail side for now.
Okay, let me ask a quick question on either, not of you, Mr. Smith. You're free to go back. On both the male and female side, do we need the Spanish interpreter?
Anyone? No, Your Honor, we good from the mail side.
Not on the female side, Your Honor.
Okay, well, Ms. Toles, you're free to go.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a great afternoon.
You too. Okay, let's switch over to the ladies.
You first up. Just let them know your name. Go, stand right there. Stand back, let them know your name.
Tell me your name, ma'am.
Tiana Baker.
Okay, excuse me, Ms. Baker. Ms. Baker, you're charged with 1 count of criminal trespass and 1 count of possession of marijuana less than an ounce. I'm going to set the bond for both of these offenses at $1,500 each. So that's going to be a total bond of $3,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
You're going to have well, there's going to be a stay away provision on this bond to stay away from Ahmad Nichols. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for April 27th at 8:30 in the morning, but that date is going to get waived upon your bonding out and you'll receive a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
No.
Okay. You're going to hire your own lawyer or you're going to represent yourself?
I'm gonna get a lawyer.
Okay. If you don't have any questions of me, ma'am, you're free to go back.
Go ahead. Next. Don't let that door close, slam.
Good morning, ma'am. What's your name?
Ashley Crane.
Ms. Brown, you've been charged with 1 count of violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act, 1 count of possession of marijuana less than an ounce.
That's not me, sir. I'm sorry. I said Ashley Frame.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Okay. Ms. Frame, you've been charged with 1 count of criminal trespass and 1 count of battery. You're going to have a total bond set at $8,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes.
Okay. There's going to be a stay away provision to stay away from Stanley Green. I think he was arrested with you, and he's going to have the same bond and the same bond condition to stay away from you. Do you understand that?
Yes.
You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for April 27th at 8:30 in the morning, but that date is going to get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to find that you qualify, Ms. Frame, and I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No, I don't.
You're free to go back now.
You go ahead, back. Next person.
Good morning. Tell me your name, ma'am.
Good morning. My name is Ebony Johnson.
Ms. Johnson, you've been charged with 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 8 offenses. 4 of them are felonies, and 4 of them are misdemeanors. The speeding, 31 to 34 miles over the speed limit, the bond is going to be set at $1,500 for that. Reckless driving, $1,500. Improper lane change, $500. Possession of marijuana less than an ounce, $1,500. Possession with the intent to distribute a controlled substance, the bond is going to be set at $10,000. Possession of a Schedule 4 drug, looks like there's pills. The bond is going to be set at $5,000. Use or possession of drug-related objects, the bond is going to be set at $1,500. And possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime, the bond is going to be set at $10,000. So if my math is correct, that's a bond of $31,500. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
No, sir.
Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Please.
Okay, it looks like you do qualify, Ms. Johnson. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for April 28th at 8:30 in the morning, but that date is going to get waived upon your bonding out. I would encourage you to contact the bonding companies and see what they'll do. They will work with you. Do you have any questions of me, ma'am?
Yes, if you could give me the dollar amount again.
$31,500.
31,500. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All
You're
right.
free to go back. Tell me your name, ma'am.
Bianca Miller.
Ms. Miller, you're charged with knowingly driving a motor vehicle on a suspended or canceled registration and possession of a Schedule I drug, MDMA. You're gonna have a total bond set at $6,500. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
Yes.
You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for April 28th at 8:30 in the morning. But that date is going to get waived upon your bonding out and you receive a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
No, sir. I do have a question though.
Yes, ma'am.
At what point was it switched to knowingly? Because I wasn't aware that my registration was suspended.
So I just have what's called the warrantless arrest affidavit. I don't have a police report, so I don't know what initially they were charging you with. But normally, if they put the knowingly part in it, it says that, hey, this person received notice or something like that. And of course, that's something the state would have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. So do you plan on hiring your own lawyer or representing yourself? Hiring your own lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you don't have any questions of me, Ms. Miller, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next person. Who's next? Don't let the door close.
Good morning. Tell me your name, ma'am.
Crystal Morrison.
Okay. Ms. Morrison, you're charged with 1 count of theft by taking motor vehicle and 1 count of driving with no license and 1 count of improper lane change. There's going to be a $10,000 bond set on the theft by taking motor vehicle, a $1,000 bond set on the driving with no license, and a $500 bond set on the improper lane change. So that's going to be a total bond of $11,500. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Can I ask you a question?
Yes, ma'am.
The theft by taking on a motor vehicle, that is my truck. I didn't steal my truck. It's just in my fiance's name. I bought it from his father. They have the same name.
Okay.
And I didn't steal the truck. I had the key, and I'm going to flag the police officer down. I gave him the key whenever his mom pulled up. I didn't steal the truck.
Let me ask you this. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm going to respond to your question
Thank
in
you.
a second. Okay, you do qualify, Ms. Morrison. Excuse me. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. So you need to tell your lawyer what you just told me, and you need to make sure you get the ownership documents, like bill of sale or whatever, to show that you own that vehicle, and the lawyer should be able to deal with these charges.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date of April 28th at 8:30 in the morning, but that date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Do you have any other questions of me, Ms. Moore?
What was the total of the bond, sir?
11,500.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Here's the back. Tell me your name, ma'am.
Samira Murphy.
Okay, Ms. Murphy, you've been charged with battery. The bond is going to be set at $5,000. And there's going to be a stay away provision to stay away from John Durham. And I believe he was on my calendar yesterday. And I believe he has a stay away provision to stay away from you. So do you believe you can post this bond?
Yes, sir, I can post a bond. Which one of us gonna be allowed to go back to our home?
So these situations always are difficult because there are stay away provisions placed on both of you. You both are the victim and you're both the defendant, or the accused. So if both of you contact the solicitor's office and let them know that you, for example, are not afraid of Mr. Durham, and Mr. Durham says he's not afraid of you, this stay away provision can be changed. But we just place that on these types of situations because we don't want whatever led to your being before me today to flare back up when you bond out. And so we want to try to make sure we work past that point, okay?
Okay, what about our children?
When you say what about your children, what?
Yes, because I know Mr. Durham had the criminal, with the children, the charge for us busting in front of the children.
Right. So I did not put a stay away provision as it relates to staying away from the children.
Okay.
So I can't really give you advice as to kind of what to do as it relates to you do this or you do that. But I would encourage the two of you, because I think I appointed him a lawyer yesterday. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, you do qualify, ma'am. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. I would encourage the two of you to speak to your respective lawyers about your situation, and they will be able to work through the issues that you have right now. I'm going to set a preliminary hearing date for April 27th at 8:30 in the morning, but that date is going to get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail.
Okay.
So do you have any other questions for me, Ms. Murphy?
Sir, you said 5,000.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Tell me your name, ma'am.
Rachel Pickett.
Okay. Ms. Pickett, you've been charged with 1 count of criminal trespass and 1 count of battery. You're going to have a total bond set at $8,000, $5,000 for the battery and $3,000 for the criminal trespass. There's going to be a stay away provision on this bond to stay away from, it looks like Adura Tugnoni?
Audra Tagnoni, she's my sister.
Okay. Do you believe you can post this bond, ma'am?
I'm gonna try, but I don't think I can.
Okay. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, please.
Okay, you do qualify, ma'am. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. As I've told the other people, I would encourage you to contact the bonding companies because they will work with people and helping them to bond out, because that's literally their job. Do you have any other questions for me?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back. Tell me your name, ma'am.
Tanya Premise?
I'm sorry, would you repeat that last name?
Premise?
Okay. Okay, Ms. Premise, you've been charged with one count of violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act. It looks like the allegation is 6 pills that they believe to be MDMA. The bond is going to be set at $5,000 for that charge. Possession of marijuana less than an ounce, the bond is set at $1,500. And they have a count of having a dangerous drug not in the original container. And the bond is going to be set at $2,500 for that. So you're going to have a total bond set at $9,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
Yes.
You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for April 28th at 8:30 in the morning. But that date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll receive a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay, ma'am, it looks like you qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No, thank you. No,
Okay, you're free to go back, ma'am.
thank you.
You're welcome. Give me your name, ma'am.
Kashina Raw.
Okay, Ms. Rawls, you're charged with one count of making a false statement, and this is a felony offense. The bond is going to be set at $5,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
I can try.
Okay. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, please.
Okay, ma'am, you do qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for April 28th at 8:30 in the morning, but that date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll receive a new court date in the mail. Do you have any questions of me, Ms. Ross?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back. Your name, ma'am?
Hi, Scott.
Ms. Scott, you've been charged with one count of violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act. The allegation appears that you were possessing ecstasy and possession of marijuana less than an ounce. Your total bond is going to be set at $6,500. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
I'm not sure. Is there any way to be able to get that? I mean, I wanted to talk to an attorney to see if I could be able to get that listened.
You said you're going to talk to an attorney?
No, I was asking if there was any way that I can be able to get that, the payment listened or anything like that. I would have to talk to my attorney about that.
Yes. The bond amount for the possession of marijuana less than an ounce, that's set by schedule. So that's an amount that I can't reduce. The drug charge, because it's a felony drug charge, this is sort of at the low end of what we use internally. So it's possible that your lawyer can do something about that, but you should be able to speak to a bonding company and bond out. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You do qualify, Ms. Scott. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Because this is a felony offense, you're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for April 28th at 8:30 in the morning. But that date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll receive a new court date in the mail. Do you have any questions for me, Ms. Scott?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
My name is Kathy Brown.
Ms. Brown, you've been charged with one count of violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act, possession of methamphetamine. That is a felony. The bond is going to be set at $5,000 for that. Possession of marijuana less than an ounce. Bond is going to be set at $1,500. And crossing a guard line with allegation as drugs, the bond is going to be set at $2,000. So you're going to have a total bond of $8,500. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for April 28th at 8:30 in the morning. But that date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll receive a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It looks like you do qualify, ma'am. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Ms. Brown, you're free to go back.
Tiffany,
I'm sorry, what's your name, ma'am?
Tiffany Starks.
Okay, Ms. Starks, you've been charged with 3 offenses, 2 felonies and 1 misdemeanor, violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act. The bond is going to be set at $5,000 for that. Possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime, the bond is going to be set at $5,000. And failing to stop or yield at a stop sign, the bond is going to be set at $500. So that's a total bond of $10,500. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
Yes.
You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for April 28th at 8:30 in the morning, but that date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll receive a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
If I get an appointed lawyer, could I still search for my own lawyer if I don't like him?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yeah, you can go ahead.
How much do you earn per month, Ms. Starks?
Per month, I would say it depends. I can make between two.
Okay. You qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, ma'am?
No.
Okay, you're free to go.
Wait, I'm sorry. One question. What is my amount?
Your total bond amount?
Yeah.
Is $10,500, but the sheriff's department is required to add fees to the bond, so it's going to be a little bit higher. I don't have access to the fee schedule, so it'll be a little bit higher than the $10,500, but that's because they're mandated by law to add fees to whatever bond I set.
Is that everybody or just me?
Everybody.
Okay, so when I call and bail bondsman, I should ask for what amount?
Tell them that your bond is set at $10,500. Once this gets entered into the system, they will be able to pay you the entire amount, and you will be told the entire amount by the sheriff's department.
Okay, and one more thing, because I'm not from Atlanta, so I have to find somebody from Atlanta, Georgia, to bond me out, like with a Georgia ID. I can't get anybody from like New York or wherever I'm from to get me out.
Short answer is yes, you can, but you'll have to go through a bonding company. The bonding companies will tell you whether they feel okay in granting or securing your bond or not. So there's a list that you will receive of the bonding companies that are authorized to write bonds in this county. And then you'll have to contact them. And if you're, like you said, you're not from here, then they may say, well, I'm gonna charge you a little bit more than I would charge somebody who's here. Because if you skip bond, I gotta travel to New York to try to get you or whatever, okay?
Okay,
Any other questions, ma'am?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Tell me your name, ma'am.
Malia Zachary.
Don't lean on the wall.
Ms. Zachary, you're charged with possession of marijuana less than an ounce, use or possession of drug-related objects, and driving a vehicle with defective headlights. You're gonna have a total bond set at $3,500. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for April 27th at 8:30 in the morning, but that date will get waived upon your bonding out and you'll receive a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You do qualify, Ms. Zachary. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Tell me your name, ma'am.
My name is Kiara Tisdom.
Ms. Tisdom, you're charged with 1 count of cruelty to children, 3rd degree, and 1 count of contributing to the delinquency or deprivation of a minor. I've set your total bond at $7,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Can you say the charges one more time? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Oh, no problem. Cruelty to children in the 1st degree. I'm sorry, I said 3rd degree. In the 1st degree and contributing to the delinquency of a minor.
And the bond is how much?
$7,000.
$7,000, okay,
Yes, ma'am. Do you believe you can post that bond?
I can.
Okay. You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for April 28th at 8:30 in the morning, but that date will get waived upon your bonding out. Excuse me. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, please, thank you.
Okay. Okay, Ms. Tisdom, you do qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, ma'am?
How long well, okay, no, that's all, that'll be all.
Okay, ma'am, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Your Honor, that's all the females that I had.
Okay, you have a good day. Thank you.
You as well, sir. Thank you.
We're ready to go on the men's side. Can you hear me on the men's side?
Yes, Your Honor, we're ready.
Okay. Looks like we have two fugitives today, Mr. Granderson and Mr. Phillips. So we'll save them until the end.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Brantley.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Brantley, you've been charged with 1 count of theft by taking and 1 count of driving a vehicle without a license. I'm going to set your bond, your total bond, at $6,000. Do you believe you can post this bond, Mr. Brantley?
Yes, sir.
Do you currently live with Miss Brantley, Trunda Brantley?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Okay. And you're 18?
17.
17, okay. You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for April 28th at 8:30 in the morning, and that's gonna be in courtroom 201. And this is a felony charge of theft by taking. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you do qualify, Mr. Brantley. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back, Mr. Brantley.
You can go back. You can go back.
Are you Mr. Broswell?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Broswell, you've been charged with 1 count of driving under the influence of alcohol, and it looks as though you have a prior conviction for this. So your bond amount is going to be $10,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir.
You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for April 27th at 8:30 in the morning. That date is going to get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you do qualify, Mr. Broswell. I am going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
All right.
Mr. Clark?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Clark, you're charged with 1 count of use or possession of drug-related objects and 1 count of violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act. It looks as though you're on probation, so I can't set a bond at this point for the felony drug offense. But I did set a bond of $1,500 on the misdemeanor. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for April 28th at 8:30 in the morning. You're going to also have a bond hearing date set for.
Sit down. Put your arm to your shirt.
You're going to have a bond hearing date set for April 30th.
Next time I see them, I'm going to tell you on the whole 30th.
On April 30th at 8:30 in the morning. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer, Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Okay. You do qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. You should speak to the lawyer about the fact that bond was denied as it relates to your probation status, because that's something that can get taken care of before those dates come up. But they're going to have to communicate with your probation officer first. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back. Are you Mr. Daniels?
Yes.
Mr. Daniels, you're charged with 1 count of simple assault. I've set the bond at $3,000 for that offense. And I've put a stay away provision on this bond to stay away from Valencia Woods. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
I'm gonna try, sir. So pretty much, I gotta vacate my home?
Well, in the meantime, yes. This is something that can be removed, but Ms. Woods is gonna have to communicate with the solicitor's office that she's not afraid of you, and they will consider whether they want to lift this condition or not. You cannot contact Ms. Woods because that will be a violation of your bond condition and you could get felony charges. If there are items that you need to remove from your home in the meantime, you can make arrangements with the sheriff's department and they will schedule a time where they will be at your house where you can remove the items that you need in order to have a day-to-day living. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
Okay, you do qualify, Mr. Daniels. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for April 27th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you will receive a new court date in the mail. Do you have any questions for me?
Well, no, that'll be all.
Okay, you're free to go back, Mr. Daniels.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Tell me your name, sir.
Probably Glass.
Mr. Glass, you've been charged with 1 count of criminal trespass and 1 count of stalking. These are both misdemeanor offenses. So you're going to have a total bond set at $8,000. But there's going to be a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from Mabel Hawkins and Alexis Hawkins. Do you believe you can post this bond, sir?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand the stay away provision?
Yes, sir.
You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for April 27th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll receive a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
You do qualify, Mr. Glass. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No, sir, not at this time.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Thank you, appreciate it. Have a blessed day.
Have a good day. Are you Mr. Green?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Green, you're charged with 1 count of criminal trespass and 1 count of battery. Your total bond is going to be set at $8,000, and you're going to have a stay away provision on your bond to stay away from Ashley Frame. I don't know if you heard while I was doing the lady side, but I gave her the exact same bond and exact same bond condition. So do you believe you can post this bond?
Yes, sir.
And do you understand the stay away provision?
Fully.
Okay. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for April 27th at 8:30 in the morning. That date is going to get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll receive a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to find that you qualify, Mr. Green. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Are you Mr. Grimes?
Yes, sir.
So, Mr. Grimes, you've been charged with 1 count of simple assault and 1 count of criminal trespass. I'm going to set a $3,000 bond on each count for a total bond of $6,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes.
I'm also going to put a stay away provision on this bond to stay away from a Tequila Lavette Jones and to stay away from 1681 Tar Boulevard, also known as Panhandle Package. Do you understand that?
Yes.
You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for April 27th at 8:30 in the morning. It's going to be in courtroom 201 is what it's going to say, but it may be a Zoom hearing, but that date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll receive a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
Okay. You do qualify, Mr. Grimes. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
I'm on probation right now. Do you know what stipulations about bonding out while being on probation?
Well, I believe you have an obligation to report that to your probation officer. And I would do that before making the bond conditions, because if you have a hold placed on you because of this, then you're just going to be dealing with the probation hold, even though you have a bond set. So it all depends on essentially how good of a probationer you were. Like if you're a person getting in trouble every couple of weeks, they're probably going to put a hold on you. If you're doing everything you're supposed to do, and this is out of the ordinary, then they probably won't.
Okay.
Any other questions, sir?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
I go into the room.
Yes, sir.
Are you Mr. Harris?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Harris, you've been charged with 1 count of giving a false name, address, or date of birth, 1 count of knowingly driving a motor vehicle with a canceled registration, and 1 count of driving on a suspended license. You're going to have a total bond set at $5,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir.
You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for April 27th at 8:30 in the morning, but that date is going to get waived upon your bonding out. You'll get a new court date in the mail. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
You do qualify, Mr. Harris. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
All right.
Are you Mr. Heath?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Heath, you've been charged with a number of offenses. Possession of marijuana less than an ounce, reckless driving, hit and run, accident, possession of tools during the commission of a crime. Those were all misdemeanor offenses, and I set bond on those. You have 3 theft by receiving stolen property charges and 1 felony fleeing from a police officer, bond is going to be denied on those charges at this point. So you're going to have $7,500 set on the misdemeanors, and you're going to have no bond set on the felony offenses. I'm going to set a preliminary hearing date for April 28th at 8:30 in the morning. And I'm going to set a bond hearing date at this time for April 30th at 8:30 in the morning. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you do qualify, Mr. Heath. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back. Are you Mr. Henderson?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Henderson, you've been charged with 1 count of theft by receiving stolen property, being a motor vehicle. I'm going to set a bond on that offense at $10,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to also set a preliminary hearing date for April 28th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you receive a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
No, sir. I have one.
Okay, who's your lawyer?
You said what, sir?
Do you know the lawyer's name?
I know. No, I do not. I just know her last name is Johnson.
Okay, that's fine. I was just, if you knew the lawyer's name, I was going to make a notation on the form, but it's not required. If you don't have any other questions, you're free to go back.
I was gonna ask, is there any kind of way that that bond could be lowered?
Well, I take.
This is my first offense. I mean,
I understand. And normally I would set a bond at $20,000, but I saw that for this offense, but I saw that your criminal history was not extensive. I take this seriously because, especially in these days and time, in a place like the city of Atlanta, we don't have good public transportation. So when you take somebody's car, you could take their livelihood. So I don't want you to think that this is just an easy little thing.
Yes, sir.
I don't need you to understand that. So you're free to go back, Mr. Henderson, if you don't have any other questions for me.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
You too.
How you doing?
Tell me your name, sir.
Michael Huntsville.
Okay. Sir, you've been charged with 3 misdemeanors and 1 felony. I've set bond on the misdemeanors for a total bond of $3,500 for those, but on the felony offense, there's an indication that you're still on probation. And so I cannot set bond on that offense at this hearing. I set a preliminary hearing date for April 28th at 8:30 in the morning. And I'm also setting a bond hearing date today for April 30th. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
When's
my bond hearing, Your Honor?
April 30th. You do qualify for the appointment of a lawyer. I am going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Now, your lawyer can communicate with the district attorney and see if they will consent to a bond before your hearing date. I just can't set bond by law because it's showing that you're on probation, and they generally want to speak to your probation officer before they decide whether to agree to a bond or not.
Yes, sir.
Okay, any other questions?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
All right, thank you.
Sir, you've been charged with 1 count of malice murder and 1 count of tampering with evidence. I cannot set bond on these offenses at this hearing, but I've set a preliminary hearing date for April 28th at 8:30 in the morning. And I've also set a bond hearing date for April 30th. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
I'm having a lawyer. I just don't have those contact information right now.
Okay. So make sure you tell your lawyer of those hearing dates. Okay?
Can you set a notification for him? His name is Victor Kubo.
Victor
Kubo, yes.
Okay.
Thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. You're free to go back, Mr. Jones.
Still already, Mr.
Tell me your name, sir.
Corey Lewis.
Mr. Lewis, you've been charged with 1 count of terroristic threats or acts as a felony and 1 count of criminal trespass. I've set a $10,000 bond on terroristic threats or acts. I've set a $3,000 bond on a criminal trespass. I put a stay away provision on this bond to stay away from Stephanie Pebbles or Peebles and Shanika Smith. Do you believe you can post this bond?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand the stay away provision?
No, sir.
What's your question as it relates to the stay away provision?
I don't understand the Shanika Smith stay away provision. That's the one that brought me up here to turn myself in.
So
the problem was me and my wife had an argument at the job and her manager called the police. Her manager was the one that pressed charges, so I don't understand. That was, I think, 4 years ago. I've been with my wife. Obviously, there's been no problems. Nobody's called. I haven't blew anything up, so obviously I'm not a terrorist. But that was 4 years ago. Me and my wife together. Been together 15 years.
So
I don't understand how that order came.
she's listed as the victim of your threat. So that's how this has been placed.
Oh, okay.
So for example, I had one individual who had like three separate battery cases over 4 years involving the same victim. And so I don't know what's going to happen with your wife or not as it relates to these charges. I mean, as the victim, she's free to communicate her feelings to the district attorney's office, and they will take that into account. But I have to go based upon what I see before me.
I understand.
Okay. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sure.
Okay. All right, you do qualify, Mr. Lewis. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any other questions for me?
What did you say the bond was again?
It's going to be $13,000.
Okay.
Okay, you're free to go back, sir. Tell me your name, sir.
Mario Millis.
Mr. Millis, you've been charged with 3 driving related offenses: driving on a suspended license, driving a vehicle with no insurance, and driving a vehicle with an expired tag. You're gonna have a total bond set. I'm sorry?
Yes, sir. I'm listening, sir.
Okay, you're gonna have a total bond set at $3,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for April 27th at 8:30 in the morning. That date is gonna get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
All right, you do qualify, Mr. Millis. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Now, do you have any questions of me?
Sir, nah, no, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Give him your name first. Sure.
Lavender Moore.
Mr. Moore, you've been charged with 1 count of violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act. I think it's possession with intent.
It was a controlled substance?
Well, it's just the name. Georgia, whenever there's a drug, they call it violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act.
Oh.
In this particular instance, they're saying possession with intent to distribute. Looks like marijuana. You're gonna have a $10,000 bond set on that and a $500 bond set on the red light violation. So that's a total bond of $10,500. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yeah, is it any way I can get it lower, or that's it?
For possession with intent, that's the starting point.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
All right.
So you're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for April 28th, and that date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
No, I'm gonna get one.
Okay. Do you have any questions for me, sir?
No, appreciate it.
Okay, you're free to go back. Are you Mr. Ransom?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Ransom, you've been charged with 1 count of running a stop sign, a red light or stop sign, or failure to yield. 1 count of marijuana less than an ounce. 1 count of use or possession of drug-related object, and 1 felony count of possession of a weapon during the commission of the crime. You're gonna have a total bond set at $8,500. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for April 28th at 8:30 in the morning, but that date is gonna get waived upon your bonding out. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself? You want me to see your file?
Yes, sir. No, I'm sorry. Yes, sir, I have a lawyer.
Okay. If you don't have any questions for me, you're free to go back.
I'm sorry, sir. You said, can you say the total amount one more time?
Oh, sure. $8,500.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome. Rose? Mr. Rose, you've been charged with a number of offenses. With 10 different offenses. I set bond on the misdemeanors, but on the felony drug counts and the possession of a firearm by a convicted felon and possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime, bond is going to be denied on those 5 offenses at this time. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for April 28th at 8:30 in the morning, and you're going to have a bond hearing date set for April 30th. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
You do qualify, Mr. Rose. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
Yes, sir. Will my lawyer be coming to see me before those court dates?
Yes, the lawyer should come and see you before that court date. You're going to be, because of the felony offenses, you're going to be assigned to the Clayton County Public Defender's Office. Today is Thursday. If you don't hear anything from them by Monday, I would call and try to speak to someone. I don't know their schedule, but I do know that they have arrangements in order to visit with their clients. Okay.
And for a preliminary hearing, that's like, is that a plea hearing or just stating your charges or whatnot?
It's not a plea hearing. It's a hearing to determine whether there's enough evidence for the charges to go forward. And so that's where the police officer would have to come in and testify, and your lawyer would get to cross-examine the police officer, and the judge will get to answer any questions if the judge wanted to about the charges.
Okay, I have one more question.
Yes, sir.
As far as the drug possession goes, my son, I have a 9-year-old, and the 9-year-old said that he seen the cop put something back in the car as far as like a little baggie. I didn't know he even witnessed that. When I got on the phone with my girl, she told me that he said that. So I was just wondering if you can make a note of that.
Well, that's something that you need to tell your lawyer.
Okay.
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 Any other questions?
No, that's it.
Okay, you're free to go back.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Tell me your name, sir.
Clifton Sellers.
Okay, Mr. Sellers, you're charged with 1 count of driving on a suspended license and 1 count of knowingly driving a motor vehicle with a suspended or canceled registration. You're gonna have a total bond set at $2,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir. I got one question for you, sir.
Yes, sir.
My registration, I had just got it, well, my new insurance yesterday. So, and it was on the seat, you know, when they pulled me over. Even though I don't have a tag due to my emissions, but I still have insurance.
Okay, well, these are mere allegations at this point.
Okay.
They're gonna have to prove their case beyond reasonable doubt. The fact that you have that is something that you need to make sure that you show to your lawyer. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, are you currently employed, Mr. Sellers?
Yes, sir. I'm a manager at Zippy Lube.
Okay, about how much do you make per month or per hour?
Roughly about,
I'm sorry?
roughly about 3,500 a month.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna find that you qualify, Mr. Sellers. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
All right, I got one last question.
Yes, sir.
Even though I had, I just paid for my reinstatement fee for my license, and I had my confirmation number and all that good jazz. I spoke with the officer. He said, "Don't none of that amount to nothing." Even though I had my confirmation number for my new license.
That's gonna be a detailed, fact-intensive question, meaning your lawyer is the person that's gonna have to figure out what was in the system, what was going on, and your lawyer is gonna have to be the person that figures that part out. Okay, but basically, if the state charges you with something, the state has to prove it.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
Oh, that's it, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back, Mr. Sellers.
Sir.
You are Mr. Short.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Short, you've been charged with 1 count of simple assault. The bond is going to be set at $10,000 for this, and it seems like you have prior conviction and arrest for either assault or battery. There's going to be a stay away provision on this bond to stay away from Sheila Short. Do you believe you can post this bond, sir?
No, sir, not at the moment.
Okay. Do you understand the stay away provision?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for April 27th at 8:30 in the morning. And it's going to say courtroom 201, but right now we're doing everything by Zoom. Would you like me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
You do qualify, Mr. Short. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Are you Mr. Smith, Benton Smith?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir, you've been charged with 1 count of arson, 2nd degree, and 1 count of burglary. I cannot set bond on this burglary charge at this time because it's showing that you have a prior conviction for burglary. I'm gonna deny bond on the arson charge and let the next judge set bond on both of these offenses. You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for April 28th at 8:30 in the morning. And you're gonna also have a bond hearing date set for April 30th at 8:30 in the morning. And both of those are gonna say courtroom 201, but it's gonna be right now by Zoom. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
May you?
Yes. You do qualify, Mr. Smith. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me, sir?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back. Are you Mr. Smith?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Smith, you've been charged with one count of simple battery. I've set the bond at $3,000, but I put a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from Dante Rowland.
Yes, sir.
Do you believe you can post this bond?
Oh, yes, sir.
And do you understand the stay away provision?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for April 27th at 8:30 in the morning. That date is gonna get waived upon your bonding out and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
No, sir.
Gonna represent yourself or you have your own lawyer?
I have my own lawyer.
Okay, you're free to go back, Mr. Smith.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. You're Mr. Suttles?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Suttles, you've been charged with three felony offenses related to either the possession of drugs or possession with intent to distribute drugs.
Yes, sir.
For those three drug offenses, you're going to have a total bond set at $20,000. For the violation, for the use or possession of drug-related objects, bond is going to be set at $1,500, and for the red light violation, the bond is going to be set at $500. So you're going to have a total bond of $22,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
$22,000. Yes, sir. I try.
Okay, you're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for April 28th at 8:30 in the morning. That date is going to get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail.
April 22nd?
April 28th.
April 28th.
Yes, sir. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir. And you said 21,000?
22,000.
22,000, okay. 22,000, April 28th.
Yes. You do qualify, Mr. Sotos. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any other questions for me, sir?
No, sir. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're free to go back.
Yes, sir.
Are you Mr. Truitt?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Truitt, you've been charged with three driving-related offenses. Driving with license not on your person, driving with, it looks like a different class or restricted class for your license, and possession of less than an ounce of marijuana. All of these are misdemeanor offenses. You're going to have a total bond set at $2,500. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yes, sir.
We're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for April 27th at 8:30 in the morning. That date is going to get waived upon your bonding out. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
No, sir.
Okay, you're going to represent yourself, or you're going to hire your own lawyer?
Hire my own lawyer.
Okay. You're free to go back, Mr. Truitt.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Are you Mr. Vasquez?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Vasquez, you've been charged with 1 count of simple battery. The bond is going to be set at $5,000, but it's going to be a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from Mario Vasquez. So do you believe you post this bond?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand the stay away provision?
Yeah, no, sir. Could you please explain that?
So,
Stay away from the dude.
yes, I'm assuming this is your brother?
Yes, sir. So we live in the same household.
So, what's going to happen is that your brother's going to have to contact the solicitor's office and let them know that he's not afraid of them. Now, you can't call him and tell him to do that because that'll violate your bond condition. But whenever someone is arrested for basically a fight and they live together, we put a stay away provision on the bond because we don't want whatever caused the fight yesterday to kind of flare back up when you get out. And so we don't know if we arrived right before somebody got killed or we arrived that it was just y'all play fighting, right? So that stuff will have to get worked out down the road. So you can go back and get your stuff. If your brother does not fear you, you can let the solicitor's office know that, and this condition can get lifted. Okay?
All right, no problem.
Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
No, sir, I'm fine. I'll just pay the bond and I'll be in court. I'll get my own court appointed lawyer.
Well, that's what I could do now. I mean, you can hire your own lawyer, you can represent yourself, or you can get a court appointed lawyer. Getting a court appointed lawyer today has nothing to do with your ability to bond out.
Okay, all right. Well, yeah, that's fine then. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No problem. You do qualify, Mr. Vasquez. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Your Honor, this is all we have for today. I have only 2 fugitive justice at this moment.
Okay.
I'm gonna have them both on the screen.
Well, let's do them one at a time. We'll start with Mr. Are you Mr. Granderson?
I'm Mr. Phillips.
Okay, I'll start with you, Mr. Phillips.
How you doing today, Judge?
I'm doing well. Do you understand what we're about to do here?
Yes, sir. Can I explain? I was here 2 days ago and they messed up on my paperwork. They said that I didn't have to sign the extradition waiver because the U.S. Marshals were coming to get me. And so basically I had 2 days of dead time and then they brought me back in here today. I've been having my people call every day to try to figure this out. Can I explain? Can I speak? Can I explain what's going on?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I got locked up January 6th of 2020. I bonded out about a month and a half later, which was right before the pandemic. And I actually paid a lot of money to get out of jail. And about a week later, everything shut down because of the pandemic. And so I've been in communication with the bond company. I've been in communication with the courts for a while. And somewhere along the line, we got a court date got lost in translation. I was living in another state, man. Like, I don't know what to do, but I created a business that I have, a logistics business right now that's taking care of my family, man. I'm just sitting here on dead time. I don't know what to do, man. This is crazy. Is there any way? I don't even care if you can set a high bond. Is there any way you can set a ridiculously high bond? I don't have no problem with going to court. I've never missed a court date in my life until this, man. Like, I don't know what to do, man. I'm so frustrated, bro. Like, they literally got me off an airplane. Like, I was flying. I didn't know I had a warrant.
Okay. So the short answer is that
No.
I can't set a bond today.
Okay.
Okay. So has anybody spoken to you about this situation, like this procedure?
Yeah, I've done this before because I had to get extradited before because I live in another state. So I just did this and I had a $157,000 bond that was paid.
Okay.
And that's why I'm so frustrated. Like, I was communicating with the court. I was communicating through all this COVID. It was very hard.
Okay. So because the warrant is from the U.S. Marshals Service, they will have to be the ones that decide what they do. Through the interstate compact, as it relates to quote unquote fugitives from justice, there's a time period that's set.
Well, being that 2 days ago when I came into court, you can make my time start 2 days ago when I originally had my first appearance versus today?
Because I came to court and he told me the same thing you're telling me. And I was supposed to sign my paper and I went back to court and then I'm back here again 2 days later. So it's like dead timing.
No, I understand that. I'll tell you what my understanding is of that process. I saw that there wasn't a signature on there from the judge from Tuesday.
And they told, this is Muhammad, he was the actual guy that was here, the gentleman that's standing next to me, the officer, and they told him that they didn't need this, they didn't need this paperwork. And I was explaining to him, yes, you do, because I've been through this before. I've never did it where you don't have to sign extradition paperwork. And I was trying to, I don't want to just be sitting here, man. I got a family, I got a business. I like, without me, no one's making money, like it's gonna be bad. Like I want to get this figured out. Once I get to Michigan, I'll have a bond. I'm a non-violent offender, man.
Okay, so let me ask you one question and then I'll tell you what I think we can do.
Yes,
Is it your intent to waive the right to?
Yes,
okay, so what I'll do is I'll check back on the calendar. Like I see the paperwork, I see what you're saying.
and I signed this one. This one is signed. I don't know.
No.
I'm just, because I don't want to go back this room. We get out one time a day. Like we can't communicate. Like I'm so for this. I'm behind. I got trucks all over the country. Like it's crazy right now. I'm so sorry.
Mr. Phillips, take a breath. Take a breath. So I'm going to check back on that calendar. It looks like what you're telling me is true. So the legal principle that's involved with a judge, you can, they call it nunc pro tunc. And basically what that means is that if you want to waive, and it looks like you signed that on Tuesday.
Correct.
I can sign it today and I can nunc pro tunc it back to Tuesday so that the time will begin to run from when you appeared on Tuesday and said you wanted to waive.
Okay.
Okay, do you have any other questions for me, Mr. Phillips?
No, sir. So they still have the 10 days and they can ask for extensions and so on and so forth?
Well, it's not going to be 10 days. There is like right now, there's a minimum of 30 days that they have.
Okay.
They can request an additional 30 days.
Wow.
The United States Marshals is 30 minutes away.
Oh, no, they said they want me because the type of case that I have is a monetary case. So they're kind of pressing the issue. So they're waiting for this paper. They said they were coming to get me the next day if I signed this paper.
Mr. Phillips, listen.
I'm sorry.
The reason I said the U.S. Marshals is 30 minutes away is normally this will be like, San Bernardino, California Sheriff's Department wants you, which means they'll have to come from California to get you. The U.S. Marshal Service is a professional organization. They work with the Sheriff's Department all the time. I'm just telling you the 10-day thing, I can't tell you that that's gonna happen, okay? I would listen to the people there at the Sheriff's Department because they do this every day.
Gotcha.
Okay?
Well, so, the day I got arrested from APD, I was taken off the plane. They were on the phone with the investigator. They said, as soon as he waives his extradition, we'll come get him the next day. That's what they were on the phone. I heard them say that. So they were literally probably waiting on this paperwork.
Who told you the 10-day thing?
Huh? Say that again?
Who told you the 10-day thing?
The last judge that was just on here.
Okay.
Last magistrate.
Okay. All right. Any other questions, Mr. Phillips?
No, sir. I greatly appreciate your time, and I thank you, sir.
No problem. So, sorry. I'm going to ask you to sign it. I know. I'm just saying. I don't want there to be any kind of issues. Okay. So, sign it again.
Okay.
We've had this discussion.
Yes, sir.
This is on YouTube. So what I'm going to do is, again, just check to make sure that you were there. And then I will nunc pro tunc it, which means the time will begin to run from Tuesday.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, bro.
How you doing, sir? And I understand mine is not signed mine as well.
Hold on, I'm sorry.
Granderson is my name.
Yes.
And I
heard you say something about signed by a judge.
No, that was him. He was still talking. I was saying that I understand everything and I signed my waiver.
Oh.
I understand the charges, I signed my waiver.
Yes, you can. Now, let me just make sure, what is it that you're understanding? Because I don't want there to be a misunderstanding, because my job is to inform you of your rights. So have you spoken to somebody about what you're supposed to do?
I spoke to sign this and then they'll send it up. It could take as much as 10 days, but it could go to 30 days as well.
Okay, and who told you the 10-day thing?
They said that normally people get picked up within 10 days, but don't count on it being 10 days. That's just a number they threw out there. It could go as long as 15 to 30 days.
Okay, all right, well, I believe that you understand your rights, and I understand that you want to waive.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so they will give you the paperwork to waive extradition.
Which I have.
And then they'll send it to me today.
Yes, sir.
I'll sign it and send it back today.
Yes, sir.
And then the time will begin to run from today.
Thank you so much, sir.
But just know that from just a statutory time frame, it's generally 30 days.
Yes, sir.
And then they can request an additional 30 days. But everybody does it differently. So I don't know what they'll do. They could come get you tomorrow, for all I know. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Any other questions, Mr. Granderson?
No, sir. Thank you for your time.
Okay. You're free to go back.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, I got, thank you.